Chase Burns was clearly the story today. I mean, I just can't be more impressed with his outing today. He threw 109 pitches, 6 days ago, and he was sick all week. He wasn't even at practice for a couple of days, so he didn't have his good fastball today. And struck out 12, walked none, gave up 3 hits, and he just kept coming and coming. And just so impressed with his outing today. And he wanted to go back out there in the eighth, but there was no way that we were going to let that happen, coming on short rest like that. But really happy with Zach Johnson's performance today. Some things went against him. We missed a called third strike. We didn't turn a double play ball. We missed another called third strike, and Zach kind of just kept coming, kept throwing his fastball, his slider, and his changeup in there, and got us 5 big outs. Impressed with his outing today, and he's a really good college pitcher. And he had us kind of guessing on, kind of sitting in between pitches, kind of fastball, changeup, heavy, and we just didn't make the adjustments we needed to make. But did enough offensively to get it done. Had some big 2-out hits. Jack Winay, with a big 2-out hit, and then you had Seaver King had a 2-out hit. Telly had kind of the ball up the middle that got another run. So did just enough offensively to win.
You're kind of surprised to see Louisville take out Webster after 5.
I was surprised. Yeah, I thought they would. I thought they would run him a little further. But again, he's pitching on short rest too, and the guy they brought in, Koger's really good too. So again, I certainly Dan knows his club better than I do. But I was at the time surprised. But again, short rest makes a difference.
Tom, just kind of, I guess, reflect on what Chase has done over the last 3 weeks and through the beginning of the season, and what it's meant for your club so far this season.
Well, it's meant everything. Previous to yesterday, we only won when he pitched in the league. But and again, he's given us length in every outing, and we talk about that. And we got length out of Josh yesterday, what length out of Chase today. So we've got kind of a locked and loaded bullpen for tomorrow, which makes all the difference in the world. And that hasn't happened the first 2 weekends. Again, hopefully we get 50 pitches out of Michael Massey, and then we've got Hayden LeFew in behind him, and then we've got really everybody rested and ready.
From a rewinding perspective, when Chase got on campus, how
with our team, and he just brought great energy, and he's such a positive person. Again, he didn't throw a whole lot in the fall. He threw at Vanderbilt for an inning. He threw against Elon for an inning. So, we didn't really, in the fall, we didn't really know who he was. So I would say it wasn't until probably about 2 weeks before the season when, I was umpiring back there, and the 1 week he had a really kind of disappearing slider, and then the next week he had a disappearing changeup, and all of a sudden, like, he became this 4-pitch guy that throws nothing but strikes. That's when, for me, I said to myself, this guy's different.
That's kind of different than the thought process of some of the pundits going into it, that he throws really fast, but he's a bit erratic. That kind of cleaned itself up, didn't it?
Yeah, and he worked really hard. He and Moose and Fish, our lab coordinator. Those 3 guys have worked really hard at kind of helping Chase move better and repeat his delivery more and stay within himself. And it's fun to watch because you see him, like, when he stays behind the ball and he backspins it, and he'll throw 99, 100-mile-an-hour fastballs deep into the game, and with 25 inches of vertical break. And I don't know how you hit that pitch.
For all that to happen, he has to be a pretty brilliant student, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. And, that's why he came here. He wanted to learn. He wanted to use the lab. He wanted to tap into Coach Moose. And so he came in here, and all our guys are. Our guys, one of the reasons you choose Wake is development. And, Chase bought in kind of hook, line, and sinker, just like all our guys have.
Do you think he'll still be a potential nominee for ACC Pitch of the Week with just 12 strikeouts this week?
situation, and we did.
You say he wasn't going out for the 8th no matter what, but did the length of the amount of time you guys spent at the plate at the bottom of the 7th just kind of make that decision a little bit easier for you, or was it done deal no matter
It was already made. It was, I told him, he fought for it. He wanted to stay in. And I said, hey, look, short rest, 92 pitches, sick all week. I said, I just can't do it to you. It's just not, it's just not the right thing to do. And he understood that, but he wanted to go back out there. He was asking for one more.
So a pitcher asking to go back out don't always get their way with Tom.
They don't. Josh Hartle got his way yesterday. He fought for it, and he got it. But Chase Burns did not win that one today. So no. You can ask my kids, who I love more than life itself. They don't always get their way.
It's kind of weird seeing two ends of the spectrum in terms of mentality. Mitchell last night talked about how calm, cool, collected Josh is, and then you have Chase, who's this like fiery individual and seems to rely on that emotion a little bit more. Just seeing those two kind of I guess balancing off each other a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's like leadership. Competing is that shows itself in different forms. And some guys are kind of like Chase, where that energy is kind of outward, and then other guys kind of have that compete inward, and that's Josh is that way. I mean, they're both competitors and they're both winners, so they just kind of show it in different ways for sure.
The big inning last night, scored like 5 runs and hit maybe 1 ball hard. Scored 3 runs tonight in the bottom of 7. Didn't really hit the ball that hard. Then, what does that say about what this team can do? And obviously, when you throw Kurtz back in the mix, hopefully you can add a little bit more with big bombers too. But right now, you're piecing together big innings without.
Looks like 5 walks today. So, for us, we talk about the free 90 war, all the time. And if we win the free 90 war and we get a couple 2-out RBIs, we're really hard to beat.
It's also, I mean, we talked about this a lot during the year, but kind of that small ball mentality too. I mean, that 1 run, the tying run in the 6th, kind of started with that fun, and then also there were some of the stolen bases later for some of those insurance runs. Just it seemed like that was more of a factor today, was getting runs in kind of the smaller ways than, like you were saying, like the big hit.
Well, on a day like this at the couch, I told the guys before the game, at the couch, you got to play the wind. And, there are days the ball's blowing out and you can live high. And there are days like today where it's cold and it's blowing in. And, as you saw, Cameron Gill hit that ball pretty good and it didn't go anywhere. Reinish hit his ball really good. It didn't go anywhere. So, it's not a day where you're gonna score, with a 3-run homer. You got to find different ways to win on these days.
Maybe you'll look at this a little bit differently than I was looking at it last night, but I felt like something changed a little bit with the team. Like last night, it felt like a mentality shift a little bit, and I think it seemed like it carried over today. It just seems like this series is a big shifting point possibly for this team.
Well, I think we're starting to believe. We wavered the Duke series and the Virginia series. We're just kind of struggling to find our identity, and these guys are starting to kind of latch on to who they are as a ball club. And we talked about last year's club too. I mean, that didn't really happen until the 3rd weekend of the year last year either. So we're kind of hopefully we're hitting our stride at the right time here.
And is it kind of important for, I guess, both newcomers and guys who have been here to recognize?
We're not last year's team. If we lose a big game, we don't have Rhett Lauder pitching the next day, and we don't have, Brock Wilkin hitting homers. So, but we also have a lot of really good talent in that clubhouse. So we've certainly got enough pieces to be the team we want to be. So, but yeah, it's definitely important for them to embrace that.
Thinking about Merrick Houston turning a little bit, it's starting to become I guess a thought process of what to do with the defensive alignment, because Seaver looks like he's done a really good job on that infielding position. The outfielders are starting to make their way with Javar and Cam Nelson. Kind of a little bit of a pickle, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope it stays that way. I hope we have tough decisions to make, because that means you have a good team. But yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, we've considered, again, putting Seaver King at 3rd base when Merrick comes back, and maybe playing Telly Moore at 2nd base. That's certainly something that's on our radar screen. And as far as the outfield goes, we'll continue to go to the matchups. I know Javar and Cam played today against last 2 days against lefties, but both those lefties were kind of reverse split guys where lefties handled both those guys better. So if one of those lefties had been really hard on lefties, you probably would have seen Javar, but you probably wouldn't have seen Cam in that situation. So again, to your point, I think we'll have some options to mix and match and get the pitching matchups we want.
Tom, how much does Chase's dominance affect your dugout?
Oh, I mean, we feed off his energy. He gets the big pick off there, and the team rallied around.
He's kind of low riding.
Yeah. So again, we feed off that, and same thing with all our guys. Massey's got a similar. He's different. He's different than Chase, and he's different than Jeff.